This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Hey, good evening at 7 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. Tonight, thousands of Indiana educators hope your lawmakers begin to make changes based on their huge rally at the State House. We're not sure of the exact numbers yet, but we heard from organizers at least 15,000 people showed up downtown for the massive Red for Ed demonstration by Indiana educators. They want legislators to change the way schools are judged on the iLearn tests. They want funding to go toward teachers and classrooms rather than administration, and they want to eliminate required externships. RTV6's Stephanie Wade gives you a closer look at today's demonstration.
Just take a look at this sea of people behind me. We've been marching alongside them all morning, hearing their stories of what brought them out today. And of course, looking at all of these signs. This sign right here actually caught my eye. My second job bought this sign. This is a real issue.
Yes, absolutely. This is my 6th year teaching, and I have never not worked a second job.
Teachers, where are you guys coming from?
Evansville, Indiana.
From all across the state. How long have you been a teacher?
34 years now.
34 years. And what about today is making you come out here and fight for this? With different backgrounds, different experience.
I'm tired of state legislators who have absolutely no idea what's going on in the classroom, telling classroom teachers how to do their job.
But yet, the same frustrations. It was a far drive. What was it that brought you out today? What are you fighting for? Who are you fighting for?
Well, we're fighting for our students first and foremost because we need more funding to properly bring in supplies and stuff for the kids.
I can't afford to pay my bills. I can't afford rent. I can't afford insurance and everything without working a second job. It's not possible.
Did you think you would have to do that when you got into teaching?
Absolutely not.
One of the main issues educators have with lawmakers is what they call unnecessary and excessive standardized testing. That's changing every year and preventing students and schools from succeeding. What about the standardized testing is so detrimental to these students?
I've administered these tests, and you have students who are so anxious they're throwing up in trash cans. Our calendar is so full with testing that there's really not very many opportunities to teach.
Well, and even when we were kids, the testing wasn't so high stakes that it didn't determine the kid's future. It didn't determine the teacher's pay. It didn't determine a letter grade for the school.
So they're marching around the State House for changes to education laws. Without these resources, is your fear that you will lose good teachers?
We are losing good teachers. We've already lost good teachers. We continue to lose good teachers.
Hoping lawmakers are listening. You don't feel heard?
No, not at all. Teachers haven't had a voice for a while.
Working for you, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Along with the thousands of educators at the State House going Red for Ed, some students came out to support their teachers. Gavin Smith is a senior at Clinton Prairie High School in Frankfort. He and his friends made the hour-long drive to support their teachers.
Well, we're really just trying to show support for our teachers and just show that, public education does matter, even though, some, students don't think, they just hate school. But, it really does matter, and every kid, deserves, a proper education. So that's why we came down to support it.
Yeah. Smith says his school was out today so their teachers could go Red for Ed. He says a lot of his peers wore red this week in support.
State lawmakers say they're working hard to address teacher concerns. RTV6 spoke with Republicans and Democrats, as well as members of the Senate and the House. Lawmakers say they plan to hold teachers and schools harmless for iLearn test results. They also plan to make it clear that externship is an option for teachers, not a requirement to get a teaching license. Lawmakers pointed out that the last legislative session they allocated an historic $763 million to school districts, and that it is largely up to school boards and local administrators to decide how to spend that money.
It was a historic $763 million that went to school districts this past year. So that was a great beginning, in my opinion. And we've seen historic raises given in school districts, even in my district on the eastern piece of Indiana. So to categorize that we haven't done anything wouldn't necessarily be right either.
The Next Level Teacher Compensation Commission may also make recommendations to state lawmakers for the upcoming session. Addressing funding and compensation will be difficult this session because this is not a budget year.
A lot of those teachers needed to be bundled up outside at the State House today.
It doesn't help to have your umbrella and get that rain through the day. It started out beautifully. Then the
sunshine even, right?
Clouds rolled in and took over. The rain has been light, but it's been persistent, that's for sure. Temperatures in central Indiana. I think I'm back here. I'm going to just take the long way and I'll be back. Temperature 42 in Indy right now. The wind is light. 44 in Bloomington. Visibility, you notice some of the fog through the day. That's still hanging around, and the fog may drop visibility to a mile or less in some spots, and that's through the overnight into tomorrow morning. Only 1/100 of an inch in Indianapolis today as far as rainfall, and under 1/10 there in Bloomington. And the remaining showers a little more consistent and noticeable from South Bend to Peru to Fort Wayne. We'll hold on to some drizzle here. Temperature currently 42, very little change through 11. We'll be at 41. Once we dry out, put an end to the drizzle and mist, temperatures will fall into the low to mid 30s. What happens the rest of tomorrow? It's a dry day. Temperatures upper 40s, close to 50 degrees.
Metro Police are investigating a shooting on South Talbot Street that they say started as a prearranged fight between two groups of adults. 3 people were hurt. They were taken to the hospital and are expected to survive. According to officers on the scene, that fight was not supposed to involve guns, but someone brought a gun and opened fire. IMPD's public information officer says it's frustrating to see people hurt in a situation where she says adults were acting like children.
As police officers, it makes our job tough. We go out and we try to encourage, one, outstanding behavior, and we do everything we can to, stop the violence that's on our streets. But a situation like this, how can we prevent this? How can we get ahead of this situation? These are adults acting like children. Investigators are still interviewing witnesses to figure out what led to the fight and who is responsible for the shooting.
A big step forward in the building of a park to honor Delphi teens Abby Williams and Libby German. The park is getting a donation of light poles to illuminate its softball fields and playgrounds. The Purdue Research Foundation donated 10 outdoor light poles and fixtures for the Abby and Libby Memorial Park. The teens were murdered in February of 2017, and the crime remains unsolved. A Duke Energy crew removed the 65-foot tall poles yesterday from their bases at Purdue's former intramural black fields and put them on a trailer for delivery at the park. The poles will be painted before installation. Law enforcement, K-9 officers and members of the public will gather tomorrow at the memorial service for Fisher's K-9 officer Harley. Officer Harley was shot and killed in the line of duty during a manhunt last week. The memorial service in celebration of Harley's life will take place tomorrow at Fisher's High School in the main gym. Everyone is invited. Doors open to the public at 5. The ceremony begins at 6.
Indianapolis is blazing a trail and introducing the first living monument in the country. RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you to explain this newest addition to Monument Circle and what it stands for.
The monument makes its purpose clear. It's a way to honor those heroes who are still living. It's the first of its kind. General Stuart Goodwin says Indiana War Memorials Commission partnered with Polycorp to bring the 4,000-pound piece of Indiana limestone out. On Tuesday, people visiting Monument Circle got the first peek at the new addition.
It reminds me of the Visit Indy, NDY, you see in the airport. A couple other places around town I've seen it, where people stand next to it, take a picture.
So what makes this monument unique? It gives veterans the chance to climb steps in front of the Soldiers and Sailors Monument to mount the limestone and stand proud.
Hoosiers get it. They understand about it, what it means to protect their state and their nation. And so this is just a kind of a fun way for veterans to, whether they come in uniform, whether they wear flip-flops and cutoffs and get their pictures taken.
It's estimated that more than 1 million people flock to Monument Circle each year. Now all that foot traffic is bound to bring veterans who won't just look at the monuments, they can step up and feel a part too. Working for you in downtown Indianapolis, Troy Washington, RTV6.
A viral scam is back again. Why experts say the secret sister gift exchange is just another way for scammers to take advantage of holiday generosity.
Plus, a long day on Capitol Hill as 4 witnesses testified in the House impeachment probe. We've got the latest from Washington tonight.
Only on RTV6 News.
Right now, testimony and questioning continues in the second hearing in the impeachment inquiry into President Trump.
And earlier today, the House Intelligence Committee heard from 2 witnesses who were on President Trump's July 25th phone call with Ukraine's president.
Now the panel is questioning 2 witnesses requested by the GOP. ABC's Monica Sarabdi is on Capitol Hill with more.
2 top national security officials testifying before Congress, sharing their accounts of the July 25th phone call between President Trump and Ukraine's president.
It involved discussion of what appeared to be a domestic political matter.
Jennifer Williams, an aide to Vice President Pence, described the call as, quote, unusual. But Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman took it further, deeming President Trump's request for a political favor, quote, inappropriate.
It is improper for the President of the United States to demand a foreign government investigate a U.S. citizen and a political opponent.
The decorated combat veteran whose family fled the former Soviet Union 40 years ago, telling Congress he reported the conduct not once but twice.
In Russia, my act of expressing concern to the chain of command in an official and private channel would surely cost me my life.
Republican Congressman Jim Jordan then pressed Vindman on why his former boss, Tim Morrison, in his closed-door deposition testified that he was concerned about Vindman's judgment.
We had only recently started working together. Maybe it was a different cultures, military culture.
Hours later, it was Morrison in the witness chair alongside Kurt Volker, the former U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine, at the request of Republicans on the panel. Morrison, who also listened in on the call, testified that he did not find the president's actions illegal.
I feared at the time of the call on July 25th how its disclosure would play in Washington's political climate. My fears have been realized.
Meanwhile, Volker remains adamant that he was in the dark about the true intentions of the Ukraine investigations, despite previous testimony that connects him to key events.
But the accusation that Vice President Biden acted inappropriately did not seem at all credible to me.
And although Ambassador Volker worked hand-in-hand with EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland to push Ukraine to investigate Burisma, Volker told lawmakers that it was only in hindsight that he made the connection to former Vice President Joe Biden. Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Coming up, one expert says the cost might outweigh the benefits when it comes to new tariffs. We are taking a closer look at why American-made products could also get more expensive.
And briefly, warmer temperatures are on the way. You'll notice the change, though. Warmest on Thursday. What happens when temperatures start falling again? We'll talk about that next.
Select models. This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
This week, our Scripps News partners are taking a closer look at some of the industries you might not realize are getting hit hard by new tariffs. Elizabeth Ruiz shows you how the increased taxes are costing American businesses and impacting what you pay for, things like cheese.
Welcome to Cheese Importers.
We started in 1976 out of our family home with 6 packages of cheeses from Wisconsin.
From olives and pastries to European home goods, its main attraction is in the name. Cheese Importers offers a selection of 350 imported cheeses, most of them from Europe.
Countries like Italy, Portugal, Spain, France.
But prices are about to go up, as cheeses of all types and flavors from the European Union have just been hit with an import tariff.
Really, it is impacting people negatively.
Co-owner Clara White and purchasing manager Sasha Stanger say certain cheese prices are subject to a 25% increase.
Parmesan Reggiano from Italy, Grana Padano from Italy, Buffalo Moss from Italy. One of the items that definitely will be subject to change is Manchego from Spain.
The team says they haven't felt a huge impact yet, but they're anticipating a potential hit to their bottom line. So they're looking for alternative solutions to save money.
We buy directly from our sources and importing, but in the meantime, just to figure out how to put ourselves in a position of strength as what everyone is doing, we'd reach out to all of our importer partners across the United States and see what they would sell to us at the better price point.
Economics professor Dr. Kishore Kulkarni says there are multiple reasons the current administration could be imposing tariffs on goods from Europe. But in the context of cheese, Dr. Kulkarni says it's likely the federal government is hoping the tariffs will help U.S. cheese producers earn more money.
As we raise the taxes on the European imports, then the domestic cheese producers like it because the price of imported cheese goes up, and then the domestic cheese producers can obviously raise their prices a little bit, and then their competition is stopped by this tax.
However, in his opinion, tariffs are never beneficial for the economy as a whole.
40 years of economics training has been telling me that the penalty that consumers pay is much higher than the benefits that the domestic producers get.
And when one country imposes a tariff, the other country is likely to retaliate.
Then it just becomes a trade war, and this is a war where nobody wins.
Ultimately, cheese importers hopes the tariffs will be lifted, but in the coming months, they plan to continue in good spirits, providing their customers with the specialty cheeses they've grown to love.
We do the very best we can with a lot of integrity and a lot of heart and soul, and tighten our belts where we can and just do our very best to be a good contributor in the world.
I'm Elizabeth Ruiz reporting.
Viral scam is beginning to pop up online again as we get closer to the holidays. The Better Business Bureau is reminding you to avoid falling for the Secret Sister gift exchange. The post that's going around asks friends to join in and buy one $10 gift with the promise of getting multiple gifts in return. It sounds good, but it's actually an illegal pyramid scheme. Participants are asked to provide their email and physical addresses to join, and they need to promise to recruit more people. Well, eventually the people at the bottom won't get anything in return. The BBB also warns about giving out your personal information to groups that include strangers.
That's why you need an obvious brother like Kevin Gregory with the weather.
Well, and a good story to tell. For a couple days, and we fall off again. It's like a roller coaster, up and down.
Up and down.
And the temperatures will peak on a Thursday. Tomorrow, big difference, will be dry. That's the key for Wednesday. It will be windy and wet on Thursday. Occasional showers, wind gusts over 30 miles per hour. It will also be the warmest day in the 7-day forecast. As you look, we'll have a few opportunities for rain. And then I'd say Friday night, late, really overnight Friday night into the first hours of the morning on Saturday after sunrise. Chance for rain-snow mix. Temperatures will turn cooler and return to the low 40s for highs on Saturday. Tomorrow, temperatures, they'll be in the 30s when you wake up. 44 at noon. We'll play the game tug-of-war between clouds and sunshine. I think clouds win out in the morning. Some more sunshine will start to win in the afternoon. Temperatures push 50. This is 8:30 tomorrow morning. There's the gray of the cloud cover. You begin to see the clouds thinning as we get into the afternoon hours, 1 o'clock, and then kind of a sharp edge to the cloud shield as it pushes into the Buckeye State. That will give us the opportunity for mid-afternoon and early evening skies clearing. Thursday rain chances. You can see the morning's dry. Our rain chance climbs as we go into the afternoon. Also increasing will be the temperature and the wind speed. Noon, 50 degrees on a Thursday. Notice the wind-whipped rain in the afternoon hours will make an attempt at 54. The wind speed will be strong out of the south-southwest. That is a warmer direction, and the wind gusts at times may hit 40 miles per hour in the strongest areas, especially in the northern third half of the state. Temperatures, all of central Indiana in the 50s on Thursday. The wind will shift, and that will start pushing temperatures back down as we get to Friday and Saturday. 7:30 in the morning, there's your rain from Indy to the west. That line sweeps through. There'll be some breaks in the afternoon showers. That's going to be the actual cold front that generates another burst of some rain. Friday night into Saturday, little rain snow mix potentially. This is late Friday night while you're sleeping into Saturday morning. 42 Saturday's high, 45 on Sunday. Will be dry. Temperatures early next week, they start to come back a little bit. 50 on Monday, 54 Tuesday with the chance for rain. Remember, lower 50s, the average high for this time of year. Nothing real cold in the forecast. Overnight lows just dip below freezing as we get to Sunday morning at 29. Otherwise, respectable low temperatures and fairly benign high temperatures. We're there. You know, as we start cruising our way toward
kind of in winter, kind of not,
yeah.
Kind of just here.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin, for that.
Well, Still Ahead Company is planning a first-of-its-kind cruise setting sail on International Women's Day.
We'll tell you what makes this cruise so unique when the news at 7 continues.
SteelDealers.com.
Finally tonight, a cruise line is making big plans for International Women's Day. Celebrity Cruises is planning a trip operated by an entirely female bridge team. The crew will take command of the Celebrity Edge for a trip leaving on March 8th of next year from South Florida. The trip will include activities celebrating women. Captain Kate McHugh will lead a team of 26 other women from 17 different countries. McHugh became the first American woman to captain a cruise ship in 2015. According to Celebrity, only 2% of mariners across the world are women. The company says women make up 22% of its bridge teams.
We like that.
It's pretty cool. Sometimes if you're on a cruise, you can go to the front of the ship and there's a window where you can look in at the bridge. I'm not sure.
And watch them work.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. Love hearing about that.
You're watching us work. It's not as exciting. Temperatures during the day tomorrow will push 50 degrees for the afternoon high. The big difference, dry tomorrow. Rain chances back up Thursday, but the temperature peaks at 54 degrees.
Our coverage continues on the RTV6 app, and we'll see you back here tonight at 11.
Have a good night.